Welcome back to Your Caribou Data Science Channel, America. This is the afternoon of October the 7th, 2021. A big shout out to the 9 folks who watched this video yesterday. That was 8 young folks and 1 older folks like myself. So 88% of the views yesterday were from people under the age of 18. Thank you so much. I know you folks have other things you could be doing with your lives right now, but thanks so much for stopping by and watching this video, okay? So anyway, before we get started, a couple of favors to ask. First, you know the drill for the first 3, right? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, click on the share button, share the video on Facebook and Twitter, emails, and text messages. Now, a couple new favors for you to consider today. If you click on the description of the video, you're going to see two links. The first link is a link to my Twitch live stream, my 8 p.m. Twitch live stream. Okay, that's the 8 p.m. live stream of Dave's Data Analytics channel on Twitch, where I'm all about data analytics and R programming. Okay. Secondly, I'm trying to start up a Twitter channel. So I'd appreciate if you click on the Twitter link and follow me on Twitter today, okay? So let's just get started with this. Let's just take a look over here at something. Suppose instead of a instead of a instead of a histogram, we did a box plot. Okay, so here's our existing box plot. From a statistical point of view, what can we say? Well, we can say these are unimodal. We can say that they're unsymmetric, and we can say they're skewed to the right. Now, what's interesting is the red line, the green line is the median. The red line is is the uh, the mean. What we can see is that the mean line is to the right of is always on the appears to be always on the side it's skewed. These lines here supposedly represent, because I'm not sure if it did it right, supposedly represent plus or minus 1 standard deviation. So in theory, 70% of the number should fall between these ranges here. And again, in 2021, you can still see that the average is the mean is favoring the skew, favoring the trail to the right. And again, this is a little. I'm not sure what this means, but you can see that the plus or minus 1 deviation actually runs right along this number here. So again, 70%, in theory, 70% of the numbers here should fall between these two dashed lines. Okay. Now what about this? Can we do a box plot by year? And the answer is yes, we can. Interesting. So where's our year? Okay. Because we got these two things here, and this isn't right. Okay. This should be year. Let's do this. Let's see if we can do this. So we're trying to get no, I don't understand what these mean. So let's try this. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of meandering here, First America. That's true. Oh, that worked perfectly, didn't it? Perfectly, didn't it? So look at 20. Look at the interquartile range for the U.S. for 2020 cases. Okay, there's fewer, right? There's fewer outliers compared to 2020. You can see that the median for 2020 is higher than 2021. Although the interquartile range, right, first quartile, third quartile, is greater for 2021. So can we take these and let's just try this. Coordinate flip. Okay. Okay, this is more we're looking for here. Okay. The question is, could we put a genome jitter in here? So once again, the what is this? This represents, I think, like the 0.75% or 0.9%, because this is 25, median 50. So no, I think what this is something like the interquartile range times 1.5 or something like that. Okay, and anything beyond this bounds is considered to be an outlier. Okay. So, but again, I'm still not really sure what this number here represents. But as you can see, we do have the two numbers. The key is this factor up here. Okay. So that's sort of interesting. At least I think it is. But of course, the question is: it really interesting to people who aren't just to the general public? Well, I'm not sure it would be, simply because these are numbers which don't really mean anything to people who have less understanding, and they don't mean a lot to me either. But okay, and we can do this up here also. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at uh, the uh, the numbers for cases. Okay. Okay. So once again, we can look at uh, these are cases, right? Or these deaths. Where are we here? Cases. Okay. This should read cases. There. So let's clear this out. Now the question is, how useful really is this? Okay, we can see different ways of the distribution, right? So here's the box plot of cases. Once again, 2021 appears to have more outliers over here. The interquartile range is narrower. The median is less than 2021. So 2021 has a larger interquartile range, longer whiskers, but fewer outliers apparently. Okay. What about a histogram of COVID-19 cases? Okay. Uh, there's more of a difference. While both of these are right are I'm going to call them both unimodal and unsymmetric. While they're both skewed to the right, the actual number of counts is not as high as in 2021, which is sort of interesting. And again, but nonetheless, you can still see the average tends to favor the skew. So both of these are skewed right. Okay, so that means if you have a number out here that's higher, then the average is going to be to the right of the it's going to be to the right of the median. Again, the two vertical lines are supposedly plus or minus one standard deviation. And in theory, this means that all the cases should fall, 75% of the cases should fall within these numbers right here. And these numbers right here for 2021. Okay? So let's get on with the big story here. Now, one of the curious things about COVID-19 in America is how it's being counted. Okay? Uh, in the US, cancer and heart disease deaths are counted 1 year at a time. So on January 1st, the cancer and heart disease deaths are reset to zero. But yet with COVID-19, we're continuing to count the cases and deaths from the first case and the first death. And in the case of cases, the first case was in January 2021 and January 2020, and the first death was February 28th or 29th because of the leap year. Okay, but we're going to take, so what that means is since January of 2020, we've had 44 million cases. Since late February of 2020, we've had, say, 710,000 deaths roughly, okay? And what we look at here is, these are the numbers for this year only, the 2021. Notice this spike, notice the pattern repeated through several countries, a long declining pattern for the first 7 months of the year. Then for July, we saw a big increase in COVID-19 cases and deaths, followed by now a declining pattern leading into October. But the question still remains, how many of these people here were vaccinated? Okay. What about deaths? Again, this declining pattern in deaths. Now, this one minor note about deaths, the total death counts. We know that the state of Ohio undercounted deaths by 4,000 in the fourth quarter of 2020, and then overcounted the numbers by 4,000 in 2021 because what they did, they added the missing numbers onto the first quarter of 2021. So what that means is the numbers for 2020 at the national level are undercounted by a minimum of 4,000. And for the first quarter of 2020, the numbers are overcounted by a minimum of 4,000. Okay? So anyways, just keep that in mind. Nonetheless, we still had a long declining pattern down in July in COVID-19 deaths. Now in July, the numbers began to climb back up. Now, how many of these people here were vaccinated? Okay? It looks like maybe deaths are starting to fall back down again. Remains to be seen. Now, here's the thing. Already, COVID-19 cases, COVID-19 cases have passed the 2020 numbers. That was a big headline. 2022 COVID-19 cases past 2020. Well, guess what, folks? If the vaccine won't keep you from getting COVID-19, okay, then of course cases are going to continue to go up. At some point, at some point, America, we got to get on with life. We got to stop allowing the COVID-19 to control our lives, and through the COVID-19, stop the government from controlling our lives. We got to lace up our boots, and we got to get on with life, and we got to go back to work. Okay, it's as simple as that. So, but the question is, how many of these people were vaccinated in 2021? Now, what about, as you can see, 2021 deaths have passed 2020 deaths with 2.5 months to go. But the question remains again, how many of these people were vaccinated here? Why not? I mean, what's interesting to me, if we look at this from September to September, it's almost like a mirror image. How can it go up in September and then decrease in the first 7 months of 2021? I don't understand that. I don't understand how diseases work like that. Is there a season here, like a flu season? Is there a flu season that lasts for 7 months, lasts for the last 7 months, the last 6 months of the year, uh, and then falls back down the first 6 months of the following year? I don't understand it. Those are cases, of course. Same way with the deaths. How can the numbers increase in the second half of 2020 and decrease in the first half of 2021? Now, what this is the number of cases by quarter. So what this tells us is the third quarter of 2021 was the third most cases of all quarters. Deaths deaths again, while although low, relatively speaking, were still the third most deaths for any quarter so far. If we come down here and take a look over here, okay, what you can see is, well, we zoomed in here a little more, see if we can find the real numbers here, okay? So anyway, as you can see, there are numbers behind there, but as of October the 6th, we were averaging 109,841 cases per day. Okay, this is weekly cases. How many these people were vaccinated? Was this the Delta variant? I'm sure that's the reason being given, but was it really? Okay, in cases, how many of these deaths were caused by the Delta variant, and how many of these people were vaccinated? Look at monthly cases. Well, you can see August, September were the well, first, second, third, fourth and fifth most. August and September had the fourth and fifth most cases so far of any month. And unfortunately, September's deaths was the fourth most also. Now, this is kind of fun to look at here, okay? At least I think so. This is the number of cases per 100,000 people in the U.S., okay? So somewhere between 25 and say 35 people. Let's say right now, let's just say for every 100,000 people in the U.S., 30 people have COVID-19. And what about deaths? Well, this number here is 50 is one half a case. So right now, for every 100,000 people in the U.S., one half of one person is dying from COVID-19. Finally, let's look at the cumulative totals. Remember all the talk back in the spring of last year about flattening the curve? Well, guess what, folks? America has never really flattened the curve on COVID-19 cases or deaths. The numbers have also continued to climb up, despite lockdowns, despite social distancing, mandates. COVID-19 cases and deaths never flattened out. You may have not gone up quite as fast, but they've always gone up. And the same thing's true of deaths. Okay, at some point we got to say, okay, whatever we're doing isn't working. Let's just get on with life. Okay. So anyway, America, thanks so much for your time and indulging me with the extra two plots today, the box plot and the histogram. Also, as always, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe, and of course, if you are interested in our programming and data analytics, then I want to invite you to stop by my Twitch channel, Dave's Data Analytics channel, at 8 p.m. this evening, New York time, for another live coding session. Again, uh, that's the link is in the description below. Also, I really appreciate your help in launching my Twitter channel. Click on the Twitter link below. Follow me on Twitter today. Thanks so much, America. We'll see you tomorrow with an updated report.